1st. What happened to July 2023? We are studentloanjustice.org. We're the first, oldest, largest, and really only true grassroots group fighting only and absolutely for student loan justice. If you're new to the group, welcome. Please tell everybody you know with student loans or even without about this group. It's very important. We are the only group truly, absolutely fighting only for student loan borrowers in a way that actually has the chance of actually, not pretend, actually solving the student loan problem. And I'm going to save the argument for later, maybe, but first of all, a couple of announcements. We're going to be doing a radio show tomorrow. I'm not going to say anything more about it, but I will just paste the link to it when it happens, when it airs tomorrow. Also, if you will not be resuming paying on your student loans come October 1st, which is somewhere around 80% of all borrowers, by the way, like 4 out of 5 of everyone will not resume paying on their loans. But if you fall in that category and you're willing to be interviewed, let me know. You can PM me on Facebook or Twitter, or you can send me an email at the contact info below. Any number of ways you can get a hold of me, and I will forward it along. This is we actually have 2 stories that are working right now in various national media. Both of these are. So let me know. Also, please donate, guys. I have to harp on this in recent weeks. So we currently need around 28 people to donate $20 or more. So that's like $560 that we need to raise by the end of this week. And so if you appreciate this group, we've been around for 18 years, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. We've been doing this for a long time. And I would hope that you would Google us. We're way more important than we may seem. And we wouldn't even be talking about student loan cancellation, but for this group, by executive order, but for this group. We wouldn't be talking about returning bankruptcy loan to student loans. We wouldn't be talking about we wouldn't have any legislation to point to on bankruptcy for student loans or other things. But for this group, I kid you not. So this group has national, and I would say at this point, historic prominence. So if you don't want us to disappear, just please donate, guys. Our biggest weakness is fundraising. It's always a pain. We don't need much. We don't make money in dishonest ways like the other groups do, by the way. The only place where we get revenue is in the form of personal gifts from normal people, typically distressed student loan borrowers. So as you can imagine, it's very difficult, but just please help so I can shut up about it because I suck at fundraising. Always have. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk about the fact that Ron DeSantis, Republican candidate for president, called for the return of bankruptcy rights to student loans yesterday. So maybe here's the spiel. Here's the argument that if you're new to the group, this whole thing comes down to bankruptcy, guys. Whether you would ever or never file for bankruptcy is not important. It's getting the leverage of bankruptcy return that is by far and away heads and shoulder above the rest. The most important thing that must happen in order for you to get your loans canceled. And maybe you want a break on interest. Maybe you want to just make it through one of the income-driven repayment plans. Whatever you want to see happen with your student loans, none of that stuff will happen until we, the people, get the leverage of bankruptcy rights back as the founding fathers called for them, uniform bankruptcy laws in the Constitution. Most important thing, I know it's not obvious. I know a lot of people are who are new to the group are sitting there going, I don't want to file for bankruptcy. It makes no sense for me to file for bankruptcy. I don't want to file for bankruptcy. Nobody does. And the good news is that very few people, maybe even no one, should even have to file for bankruptcy when we get the leverage returned. It's just having the leverage of bankruptcy that means everything. So we are a fiercely nonpartisan group, guys. We essentially hate the Democrats and the Republicans in different ways. The rhetoric from the Democrats is always very kind and friendly and soothing. The Republicans are just straight up evil assholes, and they have been for pretty much the entire 18 years that we've been doing this. That's true. But guys, it's a good cop, bad cop thing. The Democrats say they're on our side, but when push comes to shove and it's time to put your cards out on the table, all of a sudden the Democrats go running and hiding, and they abandoned us as they did last session. The Republicans, they're just fucking evil. What more can I say? Read anything that any Republican in Congress has said about student loans over the past 15 or 20 years, and you'll see that their rhetoric is just evil. So having said that, and by the way, whatever your political stripes are, you're very welcome in this group here. But the lay of the land is that historically the Republicans have opposed everything good for student loan borrowers. They've been a fucking train wreck. They've been, as I said, evil. So this thing that we saw yesterday from presidential candidate Ron DeSantis is very significant. You know, we're a nonpartisan group, but we are very partisan aware. And we've been following this issue for 18 years now. And never, but for a tiny little throwaway line by Jeb Bush in 2015-16 that he wasn't even campaigning long enough to even have it even having made a difference. But for that one little tiny throwaway line in 2016, we have not heard a Republican presidential candidate call for the return of bankruptcy protections to student loans ever. So Ron DeSantis put it front and center in his campaign yesterday. You know, DeSantis has made major campaign announcements 3 times since he announced his run. One, he was talking about immigration. The second one, he was talking about the military. And the third one was this thing yesterday where he called for the return of bankruptcy rates to student loans. So that is very significant, ladies and gentlemen. Now, let me just say, we do not endorse Ron DeSantis. We do not. That's ridiculous. We are not endorsing any presidential candidates at this current time, and we may not. We have not endorsed a major party presidential candidate since forever. We just haven't. We haven't. We endorsed the Green Party for the past 2-3 elections running. So, but we are very politically aware. And is Ron DeSantis full of shit? Probably. Most politicians are full of shit. Can we trust Ron DeSantis further than we can bowl him? No. But we don't trust any politicians further than we can bowl them. And they have proven that is very wise, a very wise policy. I mean, look at Biden before the 2020 election. I'm going to eliminate your student loans if you earn less than $125,000, you went to public college. I'm going to return bankruptcy rights to student loans, Joe Biden said. He did none of those things. And quite frankly, I think many Democrats, establishment Democrats, including Joe Biden, are secretly pleased that the Supreme Court case brought by Republicans, I should add, failed for loan cancellation. There's so much going on behind the scenes, guys. I'm trying to tell you the truth, and don't shoot the messenger, I guess is what I'm trying to get at here, guys. You know, we had a whole bunch of Democrats when I pointed out how politically significant it is that a Republican candidate for president called for the return of bankruptcy rates to student loans. Had a whole bunch of Democrats on the group saying, whoa, what is this group all about? I'm out of here. Oh, no, Ron DeSantis is evil. Hey, he might be evil. You might be right. We don't care. We don't care about any of that bullshit. Pardon my French. All we care about is student loans. And we do care about the political lay of the land. And the political lay of the land is what I said earlier. And I don't care what you think of Ron DeSantis, whether you would ever or never vote for him. We don't endorse him. It is very significant that a Republican presidential candidate has called for the return of bankruptcy rates to student loans. It is. And if you care about solving the student loan problem, you should be very glad that happened. I am. We are. That's a very tangible step forward for us. And remember, guys, we've got a mixed Congress now. The Democrats had full control of Congress last session. And did they return bankruptcy? No. Did they cancel student loans? No. So fuck the Democrats. Fuck the Republicans too. Fuck both party guys. Fuck both parties. Pardon my French. Sorry. I don't mean to swear like that. Do you people not understand that we are being played by both parties? That's what's going on here, dudes. So if you want to be blue no matter who, that's great. If you want to solve the student loan problem, you should take a very honest look at this problem and acknowledge the failings of both parties on the student loan issue, because they are everywhere. So it is a good thing that a evil Republican, if that's what the way you want to think about them, has called for the return of bankruptcy rights to student loans. That's a very good thing for this group and our mission to solve the student loan problem. And that means two things: returning bankruptcy, number one, and number two, ultimately, the loans are going to have to be canceled. They have to be, and it'll have to happen administratively. Congress cannot cancel student loans. It's ridiculous. And that's another very interesting conversation if you don't understand that. So I don't care what you think about Ron DeSantis. I don't care what your politics are. You're very welcome in this group. The point of us applauding the move is not to try and get people on Ron DeSantis' side. We could care less about Ron DeSantis. We could care less about Donald Trump. We could care less about Joe Biden. All we care about is solving the student loan problem. And this was a very big step towards that goal. How is this going to play out? I don't know. Hopefully Donald Trump will stand up and say, hey, I'll do bankruptcy too. Probably won't. Donald Trump probably won't mention bankruptcy and student loans in the same sentence because he doesn't have to, because Ron DeSantis has very little chance of winning the Republican nomination. But this will light a fire under both parties. The Republicans are the party that need to have a fire lit under them the most by far. The Democrats betrayed us last session, guys. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying, in every possible scenario, having a Republican presidential candidate of note, of legitimacy, calling for the return of bankruptcy protections is a very good thing, no matter how you look at it politically. For us, it's good. So what we have been doing on this group for years and decades is finally starting to pay off. You know, nobody in this country, but for this group, are pushing Republicans both to cancel loans and to return bankruptcy. But as I said, bankruptcy is the most important. So guys, I am thrilled. I'm very happy about this news, and I look forward to seeing what comes from it. But guys, I'm telling you, it's only a whisper of progress for us. This is not where we need to be. We are a very long ways from getting to where we need to be. So you need to help us. And I hope, if nothing else, no matter what your political persuasion is, as I said, you're very welcome in this group. I hope that at all costs, the one thing that you will do is take encouragement and inspiration from this current development that we saw yesterday with Ron DeSantis. And hopefully you're beginning to see that all of our efforts are beginning to pay off on this group. We won't see anything meaningful. We won't see student loan cancellation of any meaningful size. We won't see fair administration of the income-driven repayment program. We won't see anything good happen from the Department of Education or the federal student loan program, or even on private student loans. We'll see nothing good unless and until we get the right of bankruptcy, the leverage of bankruptcy returned. Please remember that. You know, this is a slightly complicated issue, but come on. You've been living with your loans for how many years now? Hopefully you've thought about the importance of the power of the leverage of bankruptcy for your own student loans, at least a little bit. And you can sort of just viscerally tell that, hey, you know, it would be really good. I'm not sure why, but it would definitely be good that if I was to at least have the right to discharge my loans in bankruptcy, if worst came to worst, the fact that that's been unconstitutionally stripped from us, it should be very disturbing to you. You know, student loans are the only type of loan in our nation's history to be uniquely stripped of the constitutional bankruptcy rights, the uniform constitutional bankruptcy rights that exist for all other loans, all other borrowers. So this is it, guys. This is the battle. And if you want to help, if you're new to the group, the first and best thing that you might do is go to our website. I would say join your state chapter, but most importantly, do our daily actions. Do 2 weeks worth of our daily actions if you've never done a daily action before. They are quick. They are easy. It's mostly Twitter stuff, with some exceptions. One notable exception right now, we're asking everyone to get us into a phone meeting or a Zoom meeting with your House representative. We've got dozens of meetings scheduled. We've done many dozens of meetings already. We need to do 435 meetings, and that's just the House of Representatives. So whoever your House rep is, look for them. You may not know. Google it by zip code. You can find out who your House rep is. Get us into a meeting with them. It's probably the most important daily action or the most important project we've ever done in this group. We've got a lot of currency right now. Bankruptcy is elevated to near the top of the totem pole in the debate about student loans. Right now, it is. Thanks, Ron DeSantis. I'm telling you guys, it's a really good thing what Ron DeSantis did. Love him or hate him. Now is the time for you to be helping us, guys. We will be baffled and bamboozled and buried and defeated by our opposition, and they are out there, if we don't seize this opportunity that Ron DeSantis, love him or hate him, has given us. So if you've never done anything for student loan justice, this would be the time for you to turn over a new leaf. Because remember, these are your loans. This is your livelihood. The loans are going to resume in October, and we will be absolutely F-U-C-K-E-D, screwed, if repayments resume and we remain naked and afraid and vulnerable and without at least the toothpick of power, the tiny bit of leverage that having bankruptcy rights give us, as the founders called for in the Constitution. Got to get bankruptcy rights back, guys. And you can make that happen right now by getting us into a meeting with your House representative. It's not hard, guys. All you got to do is pick up the phone. You know, this group is not here for your entertainment. We're not here to hold your hand. We're not here to really cheerlead you. We're a working, fighting group. And to all of our members out there, we've got 1.4 million members of varying passion and energy and commitment, I should say. But to all of you out there who have been doing the hard work, actually helping us fight this fight, I salute you. I applaud you all. I love you guys. And I think most of those people would tell you it feels really good to be fighting this fight. To everyone else, you need to help. You need to start helping. We can't pull your weight for you. These are your loans, your problem. The loans are going to be restarted in October. It's going to be a fucking bloodbath if and when the loans are turned back on and we don't have at least the power of bankruptcy on our side. You got to help, because nobody on this group is going to pull your weight for you. And if you have no intentions of helping, then you should get the fuck off of our group, because you're lazy, you're probably cynical, you're bad karma, definitely. We don't want you here. And shame on you, by the way. To everybody else, we got this, guys. We got this. We're in the best position we've ever been in, ever in the history of this organization. We can get bankruptcy returned, maybe even by October 1st. You don't know how things might happen quickly. You know, things suck for years and decades, and then one day the problem gets solved. That does happen. And this problem is big enough that we might see some very serious, severe, drastic, immediate justice for these loans if and when we try. You don't try, it ain't gonna happen, guys. I'm telling you, we're the only group in the country fighting this fight, and we now have it within our grasp to actually get justice for these loans. I don't want to be here a year from now, guys. I want to be done. I'm a defaulted student loan borrower, by the way. I want to be done. The only way that that's going to happen is when more people help us fight. By doing our daily actions, as I said, by getting us into a meeting. See the thing scrolling below, and it's pretty self-explanatory. Get us into a meeting with your House rep. Do our daily actions. Those are the two things that I can tell you that you can easily do. It's fun, it's cathartic, and it helps big time. So I'm going to look for your questions and comments now. I think I've gone on too long already tonight, and I apologize for that. But I hope my point is clear. We're firstly a nonpartisan group, guys, but we're in a very good position now. So whether you're a Democrat or a Republican or a Libertarian or a egalitarian or a Unitarian, you are very welcome in this group. And I hope that you are stoked at the good news that we heard yesterday from Ron DeSantis. Love him or hate him. Okay. And guys, I'm running so late at this point. Well, I may not have time to get to your comments tonight, but I will try. So Lisa's with us tonight. Hey, Lisa. Lisa says, note that nobody in the Biden administration is calling for the return of bankruptcy rights. All we get is this new nightmare scenario where the bankruptcy decision rests with the Department of Education. The Biden administration does not want to return bankruptcy. Biden's balls are in the lending industry's purse. That's true. Everything you just said, Lisa, is absolutely true. The Democrats have gone silent on bankruptcy. And remember, these are the same Democrats that have included the return of bankruptcy protections into the DNC party platform since 2016. Biden promised he was going to return bankruptcy. He got into office. Did Congress return bankruptcy? No, they didn't. Democratically controlled Congress did not return bankruptcy. And what Joe Biden did do was this new bankruptcy process where, and by the way, that started on this group also. It was our conversations with James Cavall before he was undersecretary. It was our conversation with Biden's campaign manager, Greg Murphy, about stopping opposing student loan borrowers in bankruptcy court. Originally, that was what that new bankruptcy process was supposed to be. But they screwed us, guys. Student loan borrowers are still being essentially opposed in bankruptcy. The only difference is undue hardship is now essentially decided by the Department of Education instead of a bankruptcy judge. So they have stolen the undue hardship determination process and stuffed it down into the bureaucratic bowels of the Department of Education. And remember, guys, one of the more important things I'll say tonight, if you're new to the group, if you don't understand this problem, the Department of Education has no desire, no intentions of canceling even a nickel of any student loan debt if they can find a way not to. It's the way they've always operated. It's the way they're operating now. It's the way they will always operate it. They're running this lending program like a business, and they are ruthless. And if they were a bank, they'd be the largest, most vicious predatory lender in U.S. history, probably world history. So, yeah, I agree, Lisa. And how suspicious it is that we haven't heard the Democrats talk about returning bankruptcy to student loans since the beginning of the year. It's kind of like when your buddy screws you, all of a sudden you don't hear from him for a long time. Like, I don't know, like let's take lending, which is ironic, but let's say you loan your buddy $100, your buddy doesn't repay you, and all of a sudden you never hear from your buddy again. That's kind of what it seems like with the Democrats right now. They had been promising to return bankruptcy to student loans for decades. They finally got their power back last session. They had the House, the Senate, the presidency, and they chose not to return bankruptcy to student loans. They betrayed us viciously and brutally. And now they've gone quiet on the bankruptcy issue for student loans. So, anyways, that's bad on the Democrats. Shame on the Democrats. as I said, whatever your political stripes are, you're more than welcome in this group. We tell the truth about both parties. And if that offends you, sorry about that. But I can guarantee you that we'll probably say terrible, terrible things about your party. Absolutely, that's true. And probably your favorite candidate for whatever. Chances are they've got some baggage on the student loan issue. I know Joe Biden's got some very serious baggage. But yeah, guys, what we're doing is working. Lisa continues on. She says, now is the time to push the Republicans hard on bankruptcy. That's right. You know, if your House rep is a Republican, get us into a meeting right now, right now. Yeah, give them my contact information. Tell them that you want to bring us in. Someone from studentloanjustice.org, a representative from studentloanjustice.org, you would like to bring into the meeting. Only you can make that happen as a constituent. I can't call some, Mississippi congressman's office and say, yeah, I'd like a phone conference with you guys. They'll say, are you a constituent? No? Yeah, no, we're not doing it. You sitting there are the only person that can make that happen. And we're trying to make it very easy for you. Can you not tell? I'm willing to meet with 435 members of Congress or their staff. I'm very good at it. I've been doing it for many years. And if you want to, we can send any number of people onto your meeting so that they can do most or all of the talking, if not me, but I can probably do it. We're good at this. We're making it easy for you. It's very simple. All it takes from you essentially is a phone call and maybe a couple emails to set it up. I will bend over backwards, or one of our other representatives will bend over backwards to accommodate whatever schedule they may have in mind. Zoom or phone, that's fine. If you set them up, we'll knock them down. And it's just that simple, guys. DeSantis spoke again today about bankruptcy. Yeah, I saw him do a tweet about bankruptcy, and that's good. Obviously, we'd have to see some more specifics about what he has in mind, and I don't think those are going to be forthcoming. I think he's just pimping us for votes like all politicians do at this stage in their campaigns. But whatever, just him talking about it, like I said, is a very good thing for us. So, okay, guys, I'm sorry I couldn't get to all your comments tonight, but we're probably running over half an hour at this point, so I can't really, I got to wrap this up. But I hope you're buoyed. I hope you're enthused. I hope whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, you're understanding what I am saying. And I hope that this will give you some true inspiration to get off your ass. If you've been sitting on your ass, I hope you haven't been, and help us, because it feels really good to fight this fight. We're finally winning. We're in the best position we've ever been in. And we can have this problem solved by October 1st. Truly. Like, if 1.4 million people, if all the people on our group were even doing our daily actions, we would definitely have this problem licked by October 1st when the loan repayments turn on. So think about that. And if that's what you want, then do your part. It's very simple. Okay, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Good luck. God bless and Godspeed.